Hey, what's up, everybody? I want to welcome you to another episode of the Dreamers Pro Daily Recap, where we give you a recap of all of the hot topics that we covered that day. You can catch them in their long format and also catch it fully streaming for free on Apple Podcasts. So as you guys know, the Lakers yesterday played against the Philadelphia 76ers, and they somehow, some way found a way to lose that game. I don't know how they did it because Andre Drummond didn't play, Joel Embiid didn't play, and Paul George didn't play. So I don't know how the hell the Lakers lost that game. Some people say, well, Anthony Davis only played 9 minutes and 50 seconds. Yeah, he played 9 minutes and 50 seconds, but you still had the full bevy of your players, and you still had LeBron James on the floor. So how are we making an excuse for this, given the fact that you guys actually started off with a lead? So there is no excuse for losing that game. And I heard a crazy stat today, listen to Sports and Fitness Rants. He said something that, it was a stat that somebody shared to him where he said, the last 18 of the 21, out of the 21 days, the last 21 days, the Lakers have played 18 of those games in the state of California. I was like, wait, what? The last 18 days, the last 21 days, the Lakers, 18 of those days has been spent in the state of California playing against California teams. I'm like, is that even true? I didn't even know any of that. That's a crazy stat. I'm bringing it up to say the Lakers have already had an edge. They've already had an edge. They've had a soft schedule pretty much for the majority of the season. Certainly starting the season, they got a bevy of games at home. So no one needs to feel sorry for the Lakers. But yesterday, while I was watching that game in the first quarter, to my surprise, and I think that's the surprise of many people, Redick opted to bring in Bronny James into the game. And when he checked into the game, I was like, really? You're going to put him on Maxey? Tyrese Maxey, who's the hottest guy on the floor right now, who finished the game, I believe, with 42, 43 points? And he tried to guard Maxey, man, and Maxey was out there barbecuing him, deep frying him, doing all kind of stuff. And I'm like, what are we setting up Bronny to win, or are we setting him up here to fail? Right? It just seemed like at one point it seemed cruel. And Bronny seemed like he wasn't even ready for the moment. Right? And I'm like, what's going on here? So at the end of the game, during the post-game interview, JJ Redick was asked about this in terms of his thought process for bringing in Bronny James in the game, and he ended up giving his answer to it. So what we want to do is want to play exactly what JJ Redick had to say. So the reporter, when asked why he decided to play Bronny James in this game, take a listen to what JJ Redick had to say here.
JJ, you went to Bronny in the first quarter instead of Shake or Cam. Why did you want to see a look at him there?
Yeah, just felt like on a back-to-back, just him giving us energy, I think, was the goal. I maybe put him in a tough spot, flying up yesterday and, nationally televised game and Philly, all that stuff. It's, he didn't play well, but he's been playing great, in the Stay Ready games, and he's been playing great in the G. So I have confidence in him, but obviously didn't provide that at a high level.
Hey, JJ, anything further on Anthony Davis at this point?
No.
So you heard what JJ Redick had to say there. If we look at the box score from last night, Bronny James in 15 and a half minutes, he went 0-5 from the field, 0-3 from three. He did have 3 rebounds. He did have 1 assist. He did have 1 block, but he had 3 turnovers. And what's crazy is that between LeBron and LeBron James, they had 11 turnovers. Like, that's crazy. 11. LeBron had 8 turnovers. How do you have 8 turnovers? 8 turnovers? That's a crazy amount of turnovers to have. So it was a total disaster there. Now, JJ Redick said that, Bronny was under a lot of pressure. Bronny was going to be under pressure all season long. What are you talking about? Is a game with his father. Isn't that going to be the scenario every single time he goes out there and plays? Now, the sad part about this is Bronny's a decent G League player. He just had a career high the other day when he had 31 points. He's dunking on people. He's doing well in the G League. He's averaging 13 points, 13 and a half points per game, shooting around 36% from the field in the G League, 20-some% from the three-point line. So he's doing his thing in the G League. He's developing in the G League. And it shows me that if Bronny comes into an NBA game and he seems to have this kind of deer in the headlights kind of look, the question then becomes, why didn't he do just 1 more year of college? Because looking at the situation now, based on what LeBron had to say, it doesn't seem to me that LeBron James is going to be retiring anytime soon. LeBron is going to be around for the next, 2 years probably. So LeBron could have played with Bronny next year. But for me, Bronny being sent out there and he's there playing. I mean, look, JJ's admitting what we all know. Bronny just isn't any good right now. Not saying that Bronny can't be good in the future, because no one is here to define what somebody's future is going to be. But right now, he doesn't seem to be NBA ready at the moment. And to me, I don't understand what the big rush was all about. I just don't understand what the rush was all about. Generally, when you bring guys out of high school or college or whatever, really, really young, these guys are really, really developed. Look at Dalton Connect. I think Dalton Connect played a few years in college. Austin Reeves, I believe he played a few years in college. Look at him now. So maybe Bronny needed some of those developmental years and those formative years in college. This is something that I've also heard some NBA players say, like Kenyon Martin on Gil's Arena. Kenyon Martin said he should still be in college. Right? He should still be in college. So the question is all of this helping Bronny's confidence or hurting it? Now, based on Bronny James's demeanor and his countenance from a day-to-day basis, and whenever I've seen him, he doesn't seem like a guy that's really getting flustered by all of this. He always has a smile on his face and all of that. And I think that's a very, very positive attribute that he has. I think Bronny James is way more likable than his father. I mean, Bronny James is very likable. Like, I don't see why you would hate him. He's very likable. LeBron is way more polarizing than Bronny James. And I think there are a lot of people that want to see him do well. I don't think anybody wants Bronny James to do poorly. I think that people that maybe don't want to see Bronny do well are probably because of some of the feelings that they harbor for his father, because of the antics and all of those things that LeBron has been known for. But overall, man, I think JJ's just admitting what we all know, that Bronny just isn't ready. I don't think it has anything to do with, it's a nationally televised game or it's on TV or whatever. That's going to be the case whenever he plays with LeBron James. I mean, it's LeBron freaking James, for goodness sake. What do you think is going to happen when you go out there and step on the floor with him? So the question now becomes, are they going to be playing Bronny more moving forward or not? Right? Are they going to be playing him more moving forward or not? I don't know. But what I do know is that the only way for him to get better is to play. And maybe the reason that the Lakers didn't want Bronny to play those road games with his G League team is maybe to play games on the road with the real team. So if that's the case, if you want him to get some direct experience, let him play. But maybe LeBron wants to travel with his son and kind of share that experience of what it's like to, be on the road with his son. Maybe it's that, right? But to me, I don't view this as anything serious in terms of it being a project. I don't believe the development of Bronny is going to have any serious impact on the championship aspirations of the Lakers moving forward. I just hope that at the end of all of this, Bronny is the one that walks away benefiting from it. Because right now, I really don't see the benefit of him being in the NBA. Maybe he would have stayed one more year in college and then came into the NBA. But, maybe LeBron said to himself as his father, made the executive decision and said, no, my son is going to be in the NBA. He's going to be in the G League, and he's going to start gaining experience right now to get the ball started early. Maybe it was a decision that the father made, and that's the decision that his father made. That's a decision we have to respect, because LeBron is his father, and he has the right to make whatever decision he deems is the best for himself and his family, and I 100% respect that. So look, it was a pretty big game that took place between the Los Angeles Lakers and the Philadelphia 76ers. They weren't the only teams that played. The Milwaukee Bucks played. The Atlanta Hawks played against the Houston Rockets. But the big game of the night was really the game between the Lakers and the Philadelphia 76ers. Now, going into that game, the Philadelphia 76ers were extremely shorthanded. Andre Drummond didn't play. Joel Embiid didn't play. Paul George didn't play. So going into this game, looking at the fact that the Lakers started the game with their full bevy of players, and they also had Anthony Davis as well, although he left the game after 10 minutes in the game, one thought that this game would have been a cakewalk. But it ended up being the opposite effect. And I was tuning in and tuning out. But then I think towards the end of the first quarter, who did I see check into the game? It was none other than Bronny James. Now, prior to the game, there were highlights of like LeBron, guarding Bronny. They kind of playing around before the game tipped off, right? So I was very surprised to see him in the game, right? So Bronny checks into the game, and immediately he's put on Tyrese Maxey. And I'm like, they really going to have him guard Tyrese Maxey, and Tyrese Maxey started cooking him. He hit him with a baseline fadeaway shot. I was like, goodness Lord, right? And, Bronny he really ended up getting the best of Bronny. And then Bronny ends up finishing the game, playing 15 and a half minutes, going 0 of 5 from the floor, 0 of 3 from 3, didn't attempt any free throws. He did have 3 rebounds. He did have 1 assist. He had 1 block, but he did have 3 turnovers. And after the game, the internet absolutely ripped into Bronny James. Like, it was a bloodbath online. And I want to read, today we want to read from 2 accounts online. We want to read a post from House of Highlights, and we want to read a post from NBA on ESPN and really get into the comments. So let's get into what the reaction was after Bronny James's game here. Let's get into the reaction now. Okay, so let's look at this House of Highlights post. It says LeBron guarding Bronny pregame, right? Let's go to the comments. One person said, "That's the problem, Bronny. You smiling, missing every shot instead of locking in, trying to knock it down." Another person said, "Bron just trying to get a monumental clip and Bronny bricking everything." The lethal shooter said, "This has to be a priceless moment as a dad." I'm assuming he said that before the game. Another person said, "As a dad, I'll be happy as hell, but Bronny needs to lock in." Another person said, "That boy is feeling the pressure." Another person said, "Bro making LeBron worse." So that was what some people said on that post. Let's go to the NBA on ESPN. They now actually posted a thumbnail. It's the second thumbnail where they actually showed his 0 of 5 from the field. And it says, JJ still has confidence in Bronny despite his performance in the loss in Philly. One guy said, leave him in the G League for the rest of the year. Treat it like his sophomore year in college. Another person said, Bronny ain't the first person to do this. 6 and 7 year players doing the same thing. Another person said, stay the course. One guy said, worst player in the NBA right now, debate a wall. Another person said, shooting too many shots for 15 minutes. Let the game come to him. Another person said, life banned to the G League for Bronny. And then the comments just started going on. Just kept on going on and on and on and on. What are my thoughts about this? Bronny, funny enough, recently came off a career game in the G League, right? He came off a career game where he played very well. Bronny even had a poster dunk in that game. I was like, yo, son really getting it in. Like, he got a poster dunk, and it was like a real dunk. It wasn't no faking the funk. It was a real dunk. I was like, wow. And if you look at Bronny's G League numbers for the South Bay Lakers, he's averaging 13.5 points per game on 36.6% shooting from the field, 21% from three, 66.7% from, let's say 67% from the free throw line. He's getting you 3.4 rebounds, 3.9 assists, 3.1 turnovers, and 1.1 steals a game. But he's much more productive at the G League level. Okay. At the NBA level, it's not even worth discussing. And this obviously has to do with him not playing any minutes. He's averaging 0.3 points per game, 0.4 rebounds, but that goes really down to his minutes. He's averaging 3.5 minutes a game, so he's not really playing. But when he does play, he doesn't seem to be ready to be at the NBA level. What are my thoughts about this? I really don't know what the game plan is for Bronny James. I don't really know how they intend to go about developing him. I know that whenever he has moments like this, is going to be talked about. And I think that that's because he's being promoted by the media, number one. Number two, he is LeBron's son. So regardless of the fact that he's a 55th pick, he's still LeBron's son. So he's a lightning rod for attention. I also think that it's important that people have the ability to voice their views on Bronny's performances, whether they're good or bad. I don't think that you should only talk about him when he does good, or if he does bad, you're supposed to just say, oh, no, he did well. I don't think that's good reporting. I don't think that's good journalism. And I don't see how Bronny James is going to get better when he doesn't receive constructive feedback. So for the people out there saying that you're hating, no one is hating. We're just pointing out what really happened. Had Bronny James gone out there and had a stellar game where he had 15 points, 12 points, or whatever it is, or even 8 points off the bench, I think people would have pointed that out. Certainly big media would have, right? But to try to dress it up and say, oh no, it's not this, you're hating, you shouldn't really be talking about this is hating. I think that's absolutely ridiculous. Right? I think that's absolutely ridiculous. And his coach also said he didn't play well. We're going to get to those comments in the subsequent show. Well, obviously, it depends on the order which you're watching these shows here today. But for me, man, look, I don't expect much from Bronny. Coming into this season, I expected him and his father to have the father and son moment. But now that the moment has been had, I don't really know where all of this is going. Some people are saying that, he was under a lot of pressure playing on a televised game. Yeah, that's what every pro does. Now, is there added pressure to playing with your father? Of course there is, but it's what you signed up for. You certainly signed up to do it, right? Bronny obviously doesn't need the money. His father already said that, but you signed up to it. Nobody forced you. Rich Paul and all of these guys have said that this is this guy's dream. So it's not like I said Bronny's being pushed into something he doesn't want to do. Bronny clearly wants to do this. So if he wants to do this, I don't see how we need to feel sorry for him. The emotions that he's feeling is what every rookie will feel. And it takes some rookies a long time to score. It does. And whenever they score their first buckets, it's a momentous occasion. I think they end up getting the game ball or whatever it is. So look, I think people talking about this, they have the right to talk about it because it's what happened. And I don't think anybody should be silenced for saying, hey, Bronny didn't play well. Why would you silence people? We'd already finished producing content for the day. Just kind of wrapping up here, still going through the production process. And then I saw this topic, right? And as I'm looking at this video, I'm like, bro, wait a minute. We got to do a show about this now. As you guys know, Bronny had a game last night that he played for the Lakers. He checked into the first quarter to guard Tyrese Maxey. If you saw any of the highlights or you saw the game, you saw that he was absolutely ineffective at guarding, Tyrese Maxey. And that was going on there, and then he started missing shots. He went 0-5 from the field in 15 minutes. He went 0-3 from the three-point line. He had 3 turnovers. I think he had 3 rebounds and 1 block and 1 assist, if I'm not mistaken. But overall, it just wasn't a good game. At the end of the game, the head coach, J.J. Redick, reacted to it, gave his comments about it. But for the longest time, most of us in sports media have been saying that we don't believe that Bronny James is ready right now. But nevertheless, organizations like ESPN and others have been hyping him up all summer long because, LeBron's going to be playing with Bronny. LeBron's going to be playing with Bronny. So they've been hyping him up. And then what happens? The season starts and Bronny doesn't seem any good. Then the next thing you know, we hear that he's going to be in the G League. Then the next thing you know, we hear he's only going to be playing home games. He's not playing away games. And many of us are asking questions. And one of the people that was most reluctant to give a viewpoint or give an opinion on this Bronny James situation is Stephen A. Smith. But today, it seemed like even he reached his breaking point where he finally had to call out the father and ask him a question that all of us have been asking, which is, why are you doing this to Bronny James? For those of you who didn't hear what Stephen A. Smith had to say to LeBron James today on ESPN First Take, I want to play his comments for you now, and I'm going to come back and continue on the show. Take a listen to Stephen A. Smith here.
I'm really, really trying to be as respectful as I possibly can be towards LeBron James. One of the top 2 or 3 players in the history of basketball, number 2 in my eyes. A treasure to the game of basketball that we should and will all miss when he is gone. I am pleading with LeBron James as a father. Stop this. Stop this. We all know that Bronny James is in the NBA because of his dad. The first game of the season, opening night, the Griffeys in attendance, father-son duo playing in an NBA game for the first time, an absolutely positively wonderful story. And then reality sets in. We love what we're seeing from him in the G League because that's where you belong. As you hone your skills and you get better and you legitimately earn, which I believe he has the potential to do. I am rooting for Bronny James. It would be cruel to root against him. He's a wonderful kid. I wish him nothing but the best. But he's LeBron James' son. And everybody knows what attention that brings. Molly, Doggy, put them up on the screen because I want to see their face when I say this. Right now, Bronny James is averaging 0.3 points, 0.3 assists, and 0.4 rebounds. You know what people are saying. You know what they're going to do to this kid. In 13 games, he has played 44 minutes. He has scored 4 points. He is shooting 1 of 16 from the field, 0 for 7 from three-point range. How are you doing him favors? We know that he's not ready yet. And I'm saying this with compassion. I'm asking the greatest player in the game, one of the top 2 players in the history of basketball, an ambassador for this game, the face of the league, a 4-time champion, a guy that's gone to 10 NBA finals, one of the greatest we have ever or will ever see, who is a basketball savant. You know, better than me, better than Doggy, better than JJ Redick, better than Rob Pelinka, better than any basketball analysis or analyst that exists. You know what these numbers mean. You know what it's going to do to your son, to people who are missing out on opportunities, that are busting their tail on other NBA teams in the G League, in Europe, and everywhere else, what kind of opportunity they're starving for. You're exposing your son like this? I know I'm not questioning LeBron James' intent as if it's dishonorable, Doggy. It's incredibly honorable. He's a wonderful dad. I swear to y'all on everything I love, I'm not trying to be disrespectful in any way. I'm simply saying, to have that moment on game 1 of the NBA season is one thing. To propel it to a point where he's on the bench, he's in uniform, he's taking up a roster spot, and now you're giving him time in the first quarter, and you see the absence of production. How are you helping him? I just don't get it. I really don't see, I really don't get it. I really don't.
So you heard Stephen A. Smith there. I got to say this because I was thinking about it while I was talking before we played the audio. Stephen A. Smith finally took it upon himself to give Bronny James an honest critique and call out his dad. He has been handling this situation with kid gloves. Even before he gave his full opinion, he sat up there and kissed LeBron's butt by telling us what we already know about LeBron, where he is in NBA stand in terms of the pantheon of the NBA greats and all. He said all of that stuff that we already knew. He had to just couch his entire position before he said what he needed to say. And what kills me is this leeway that Stephen A. Smith has been given to Bronny James. It's a damn shame he didn't give it to all the other athletes. It's a damn shame he never gave it to Kwame Brown. I'm going to keep bringing it up. The only reason Stephen A. Smith went at Kwame Brown was because Kwame Brown didn't come from money. Kwame Brown's father wasn't viewed as a top 5 player of all time. Do you think if Kwame Brown's dad was Michael Jordan, do you honestly believe that Stephen A. Smith would have been talking about Kwame Brown the way he was talking? Like, let's be for real here. He would have been like, oh, no, you got to give it time, and the great Michael Jordan, and to go to the sport, so I plead with you. But because he knew that he wasn't connected to that type of power, he spoke about him any kind of way. So to hear him talk about this situation now, you know that even he cannot twerk it up any longer. He has to give a position on it. Now he's asking the question, pleading with LeBron, why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? Well, welcome to the party. We've been on this since the beginning of the season. Where have you been? The independent media guys have been asking, bro, what's the purpose of this? He doesn't seem ready. He doesn't seem ready. What did Stephen A. Smith do when many of us were calling this out? Stop hating on LeBron James' son. Stop hating on LeBron James' son. This is disgusting what people are saying. It's disgusting what people are saying. It's disgusting. That was him. Now all of a sudden he's had this eureka moment and discovered that, wow, Bronny ain't ready. Hello? Those stats that you just read off on TV, when do you think these stats were compiled? Last night? You're looking at an amalgamation of stats that have been accumulated throughout this season. Welcome to the party. We've been saying this. But whenever we tried to call it, oh, you're hating, you need to stop it. But we don't give all of these make all of these exceptions for all the other NBA players. So why are we doing it for Bronny? Most of all, for a player who doesn't seem to be any good. I didn't see you pulling punches for all of these other guys. I didn't see you pulling no punches for Kwame Brown. Now, some of y'all are like, well, Kwame was expected to be the number one pick. I get that. But with the amount of promotion that y'all, networks like ESPN and others, Bronny James was being promoted more than NBA All-Stars. Starting from Summer League. He was getting more promotion and being more talked about than NBA All-Stars. At one point, Bronny was being discussed more than Wemby. Was it because of his production? Was it because of his potential? No. It was because of who his father was. But now all of a sudden you want to plead with LeBron. It's like, wait, where you been? We've been on this story already. We've been asking this question, what's going on here? He's saying, why are you doing this? Why do you think he's doing it? Well, no, you know LeBron James. Why do you think LeBron James is doing this? We all know, but why do you think? It's to prop up his legacy. Duh, who don't know that? And you know that. He knows that. I think it was this particular reason that made me remove LeBron out of the top five, my top five. I think this was the final straw, if some of you are wondering. Because I'm like, wait a minute. You're going to use your son as a prop to elevate yourself? And I'm like, nah, I'm done with it. I think this was the final straw. But you were shouting at us, telling us we need to shut up. You were saying this. Oh, the haters and this. I saw you up there, Brian Winter. Oh, the haters. And you're saying this, and you're saying that. I'm like, why are you making an exception for this dude, but you don't make it for anybody else? This is it. People respect power and money. And all the other players, they don't get such breaks. Stephen A. Smith was going at players that were actually good more than he was going at players that were bad, like Bronny James. He will be going off on players that could actually play than players that can't play, the Bronny James who can't play. All because you want to protect LeBron James. And now you up there pleading with him. Like as if you didn't peep the game from 200 miles away. We already know what he was doing. We've been calling it out. So the question is, where were you? But anyway, welcome to the party. Welcome to the party. This is the fundamental reason I removed LeBron out of my top five. It wasn't because of his ability. It was because of his antics. The antics I couldn't deal with. How you going to throw, bro? This was the reason here. So thank you. Welcome to the party. But I think it's absolutely ridiculous after you were telling us, oh, we need to shut the hell up. Those guys need to shut the hell up. Yo, you haters of Bronny James, you need to shut the hell up. Y'all need to shut the hell up. That's what he was saying to us. But then go up there and quote all of his stats throughout the season. I'm lost. But we hating. I don't get it.